Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey. Thank you so much for tuning in today to our podcast. Really appreciate you taking the time and listen. And if you do us a favor and write a review of our podcast, if you like it, if you don't like it, don't write a review and don't listen. But if you do like it, we'd love you to take the time, hit the like button and go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. It'll help the Google's algorithm to show this to more people so we can share it to a bigger audience out there. So we want to thank you for that. Today's episode, we are going to be interviewing one of our coaching students who lives in Maryland, and she has 2 schools, and it's a unique brand because she's got 2 separate. She's got one Montessori and one traditional school, and they're both across the street from each other, which is pretty darn amazing to have that. We used to have 2 different brands that we were right down the road from each other. So we've done it before as well. And they're really, really great schools. So I'm looking forward to this episode. And just a reminder, if you've not got on our wait list yet for tickets for Childcare Genius Live Conference, April 14th, 15th, and 16th in Las Vegas, we do have a wait list right now. And those on the wait list get a chance to buy tickets early before the general public. So go to childcaregenius.com under the conference tab, go to Childcare Genius Live and get yourself on our wait list. There's no obligation to get on the wait list, but when you do, you're going to get a ticket offer that's $200 off tickets by getting on that wait list. So get on the wait list today. All right, so let's go ahead and get Cindi on the line.
Hi, Cindi. Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, Brian and Carol. I am doing really well. It's a little hot here in Maryland, but other than that, doing good. I'm a little warm.
Well, hot is better than snow, at least in our opinion. The last time I was there with you in Maryland, it was almost tornado weather. Remember this tornado touchdown close to you? So that's probably better to have hot than tornadoes, right?
This is true. This is true.
We wanted to have you on the podcast. I was at your school, I think a month and a half ago, and evaluating your program, working with you and your husband, Tom, on that, and visiting your awesome schools. And I said, I want to get you on the Childcare Genius Podcast because you got a really unique brand. Your schools are amazing. You have 2 different brands. We wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your background, what your life was like before you started the childcare business?
Okay. So I never, ever thought I would own a childcare center. I worked for the Food and Drug Administration. I was in planning and budget. I had a child and kind of things changed. I ended up quitting that job, but I became like a serial entrepreneur. I've opened all kinds of businesses with children. I've taught dance to children. I've taught partner dancing to adults. I was a competitive West Coast swing dancer, traveled all over the country competing with my husband and with other dance partners. And I owned a gymnastics program. I've owned a music program, a parent-child connection program. So I've done all kinds of things with kids and with the arts, and so business is my background. I love business.
And you love, when we talked, you seem like you really love the challenge of different businesses, and you're always out for a challenge.
Yes, always out for a challenge. I love to problem solve. I can avoid the problems, but
we all try to avoid the problems. Tell our audience about your childcare centers and why you're different from other centers in your area.
Okay, so I have two brands. I have one called the Learning Bee, and it's a traditional childcare center. And there's two things that I really love about that program. It's got a culture that is just very, very warm, very loving. The teachers, the families, administration, just the whole community is just so warm. And we've had, numerous students leave and then get calls back going, oh, not all childcare centers are the same. You guys are so warm. Can we bring our child back? And so that's one of my favorite things about the Learning Bee. And then the other thing is we have an outdoor classroom set up on our playground. So we have all the elements of an indoor classroom, but outside, the huge blocks, like huge wooden blocks. We have a music wall, we have, the water play and the sensory, and we've got shelving and, Legos, and you can do art and reading and everything outdoors. And I love that about that program. My other one is completely different. It's a Montessori school. So that's, of course, one unique feature. And they do a lot of cooking, they do gardening, they grow vegetables. It's a very peaceful environment. We do community caring, so we teach our little ones there very early that they can impact the world even at their young age. So they collect shoes and donate them, to different programs. They bring their old coats in. They sing at the assisted living. They make cards. So also a really cool place. I love both places.
And the unique thing is your schools are right across the street from each other.
Yes, they are literally right across the street from each other. And I always have people saying, like, aren't you competing with yourself? And I'm like, yeah, some people like apples, some people like oranges. This is perfect,
Different brands, you can get away with it. Obviously, if it was the same
different
brand, you couldn't.
Yeah.
And since I've been to both of your schools, they are both amazing. It was the first time I had been or to a Montessori school. And it was this unique experience. If you've never seen inside of a Montessori school, totally different. I was kind of blown away with what I saw and how the kids learned. It's just a different way of learning, and I loved it.
Yeah, it really is a very unique and peaceful way to learn. It's a beautiful environment.
So what were some of those challenges, Cindi, that you faced when you opened both the programs? What are some things that were hard for you?
So my first program, the Learning Bee, I opened in 2007. And of course, that was, prior to all the social media and everything. And I think the two things that were the hardest was money and enrollment. And what I didn't know about that program or didn't understand was that particular building that I moved into had a really, really bad reputation with the community. The previous center had, they actually ended up getting closed down by the state. And I did not realize how that reputation would carry on for a period of time and that I would have to figure out how to overcome that. So we opened the school. In my state, you have to have all your teachers in each of the classrooms before you can license a different age classroom. So I had 8 staff members, 1 director, 7 teachers on payroll. And we opened with 3 students. 1 was mine, 1 was the director's, and 1 was a paying student. So that was the biggest obstacle, was overcoming that reputation. And I had to really get out and beat the streets. Back then, I was on playgrounds handing out flyers. I was talking to moms clubs because we didn't have the social media. So that was rough.
That was a challenge, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
but you did it. You overcame. And it's funny, when things are tough and tight, you find a way. Like when COVID first struck,
Yeah.
Never before have childcare owners been so creative as to creating revenue and keeping their centers alive.
Yeah.
And when you're struggling, you tend to be a lot more creative. And I'm sure you were creative in those days.
I had the elementary students in my school. They were learning online with teachers from the public school, but we had them in my school, and they were able to also have some free time and some playground time to try to make it as normal as possible. But yes, we really did get creative.
Sure.
How has coaching helped you?
So coaching is awesome for me. I think the main thing coaching does for me is hold me accountable. I actually started with a coach when I first opened my first school. I was blessed that the realtor that brought me to my center was also an attorney, and he was also a previous childcare owner. And so I hired him to be my first coach. And then I found some general business coaching, and then I found childcare coaching, and then most recently I found you. And I think it's nice because like last week I had an issue, and normally as an owner you don't have anybody to call, and kind of, you might know what to do, you might not know what to do, you may want to just hash it out, and when you can pick up the phone and say, hey, Brian and Carol, what do you think? And it's just very helpful, very reassuring. So I love coaching.
Yeah, it's nice not being alone.
It's nice not being alone. It's nice having a community.
Yeah, it's a lonely place. For 15 years before I got a coach, it was all my own, and sitting in an office by myself. And when things would happen, I was like, who am I going to go to? You can't go to your competitor. You can't go to. It's like you had nobody to turn to. You had to figure it out yourself, and made a lot of mistakes by not having somebody to vent that with. So good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you found us, Cindi.
Yes, I am too.
Cindi, where do you see yourself 3 years from now? What are some of your long-term goals?
So I'm kind of in a place where I'm trying to figure out where I want to be in 3 years. I could retire, but I'm not probably the type of person that could survive retirement. I think I have to stay busy. So I think as of right now, I want to have both my schools still running. I have 5 daughters. I have 2 granddaughters. One of my granddaughters is at one of my schools. So maybe I'll have more grandchildren at my schools then. I don't rule out expansion. That's a possibility. Anything's a possibility, right?
Right?
Who knows?
Right? You never know.
Who knows? I am open to whatever comes my way.
Love that. Love that. Love that.
You attended our CCG live conference in Las Vegas this year. What did you get out of that conference?
So I've just come off of 5 really hard years, and I shared this with Brian. My husband had, quadruple bypass surgery. He had lung issues. My daughter had a very serious problem. I had cancer. We had COVID. And so when I went there, I was just looking for community. And I think what I found was a really great group of people, very open, very warm, very welcoming group of people. And I think actually that does come from the top. People were just very friendly, and I needed community, not just for myself, but for my business. I needed just some support, and I got rejuvenation, I got energy, I got inspired again. And the also cool thing was I can never get my husband to go anywhere with me as far as business. He likes vacations, but I got him to go along. It was nice because there was a very large group of men there as well. So it was a great time. So yeah, I got inspiration. I got a little energy, a kick in the butt.
And I love that. And that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
That community aspect of Childcare Genius. Love that. So Cindi, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do different?
Wow, what would I do different? That one is really hard for me because I feel like, even with all my mistakes, I learned so much and I became so resilient, and just very strong through the process. So I think the only thing I might do different is know that early on, you don't just need a director, you need a salesperson. And sometimes those are two different people. And I may have, if I had figured that out sooner, I probably would have filled the school a little bit faster. But personality and having the right people in the right roles is key. So maybe that's what I would have, if I had known that, that's what I would have done different.
Love that. Yeah, we all have the object of 2020 hindsight.
Yes.
Would have, could have, should have. But that's why you have a coach, so you don't look back in 10 years and say, I wish I would have done X, Y, Z, because you know me, I'm going to hold you accountable. If you want to do something, we're going to go for it. And we're not going to do there won't be what ifs in your future, because one thing about being a cancer survivor, Cindi, is you live every day to the fullest, don't you?
I live every day to the fullest. My motto is no regrets. So I know, even when I hit tough things in my business now, what's most important is health and family and making sure that you have your priorities in the right places, and everything else will fall into place. You'll figure it out. But yeah, I live my life, no regrets. I'm ready to go. I'm up for anything.
Yeah, Carol and I are that way, and so maybe next year in Las Vegas we'll go ziplining together, Cindi. What do you think, huh?
That sounds good. I've been ziplining.
Good. We'll go jump out of an airplane too, because you got to have that.
That one you might have to push me.
Well, Carol and I's motto is YODO. A lot of people have YOLO, you only live once. Well, not everybody truly lives, but everybody dies. So yours is you only die once. We live life to the fullest, because you're only going to die once. So you got to live it. And we're going to burn out, and we're not going to rust out.
There you go. Yep. I'm with you. That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Cindi, for taking time to come on the Child Care Genius podcast today. I know you've blessed a lot of listeners. Congratulations on all your success. And how would somebody find your website, The Learning Bee, if they want to check you out?
Sure. My website is thelearningbee.com. And then my other one is Frederick Montessori. It's FREDERICK, and then Montessori.com.
Great programs, great programs. And again, thank you for taking the time to come on, and thank you for being an awesome coaching student in the Child Care Genius University. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
That was a great podcast.
Yeah, really good. She's so nice.
Yeah.
And her husband Tom, they're great people. And for people that are our age, they are like us, jet skiing and partying and boating.
You
and
told me their jet skis go faster than ours.
Yeah, they are. They have much bigger jet skis. So when I saw them, I had a little size envy for Tom's 300 horsepower jet skis. And I know he's listening to this right now, and I'm a little jealous, and I'll be happy to buy them off of you, Tom. But anyway, mine only go 50 miles an hour on water. His go much faster. So Carol is the one that affects. I'm happy with 50, but Carol would love to do 80 and get more bugs in her teeth when she's going 80, because she has such a grin on her face when I'm looking over and we're jet skiing. I don't know why I'm talking about this on the podcast, but it goes to show you we have a lot of fun here. We don't edit this. We make mistakes. We just keep going, because you're going to get us genuine, uncut, and raw. Anyway, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy life to listen to the Child Care Genius podcast. We really are humbled that you shared your time with us.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Child Care Genius podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.